First, I have my own bones trying to oppress me, and now they want to take away my gluten.
What? What the fuck?
I just feel so attacked.
Why did they try to take away your gluten?
That's what my rheumatologist said. She said that because I have such a overactive immune system, something about like the gluten molecules, or I can't have the gluten because science and molecules and chemistry and stuff.
God damn it, that's
biology.
That's so horseshit. Okay, so we can't have gluten. What all has fucking gluten in it? Like your favorite meat substitute?
Fucking everything.
What about lube?
Probably. Lube probably has gluten in it, honestly. They make lube with fruit juice in it, for fuck's sake.
How are we gonna find gluten-free lube? What the fuck?
We don't even need lube. I mean, we don't use it.
I mean, well, shit. Okay, so we can't have bread, or we could have gluten-free bread.
You can. I can't.
How are we gonna do gluten-free fry bread?
Oh, shit. I haven't even thought of that.
We're gonna figure it out. We're gonna make it fucking happen. Okay, what else has gluten in it?
Oh my god, if I have to have a fucking Indian taco on gluten-free bread, I'm just gonna end it right now.
No, we'll make you like a really good piece of fry bread, but it'll be like one of those things where you could only have really good
I can only have like a piece of fry bread as big as like a fucking quarter or something.
Alright, but what if we find like some really good fucking artisanal sourdough or some shit?
I don't know. What other kind of grains do they make shit out of?
Spelt. Millet.
I'll have some millet fry bread.
I'm willing to try.
I'm not gonna eat millet, goddammit. I'm not a parakeet. This is bullshit.
We're gonna see what happens, and we're gonna have a lot of very scary food adventures, and
we're gonna have some pretty terrifying kitchen experiments, that's for damn sure.
And some lube adventures. Our
not
quest
in the
to
kitchen.
Oh yeah, not in the kitchen. But our quest to find gluten-free lube.
I'm telling you, we don't even use it. Why would we need to?
Well, since we can't use it, that makes me want to use it now. I mean, don't you want to get a little bit slippery?
Am I not slippery enough?
I mean, all over. I mean, not just, with our interconnectivity part. But
wait, okay. Do you know how lube works?
Yeah, you get all lubed up, and then you, like, slip around. Like, we could put a tarp on the bed and kind of like slip and slide around. We could just be like, in Indiana Jones, whenever they have that
Is that really how you think lube works?
Maybe. But if we just like jump in on top of the tarp on the bed and we just like roll around in the lube, I mean, why not? It's gluten-free. It's not gonna hurt you.
Is this supposed to be sexy?
I just thought it'd be fun. And if, peas go into the G's while we're slipping and sliding around, I'm not opposed to it.
Okay. All right. Fine. We'll get the gluten-free lube then. What the fuck?
Sumo Punx, Sumo Punx, Sumo Punx, Sumo Punx. Sumo Punx, Sumo Punx, Sumo Punx, Sumo Punx. Sumo Punx, Sumo Punx, Sumo Punx, Sumo Punx. Sumo Punx, Sumo Punx, Sumo Punx, Sumo Punx.
My name is Matt, and the gnarliest medication that I have ever been prescribed in my life was Miralax. It was a laxative that they give you to prepare you for surgery, and it was not fun.
Wait, they do that?
Yeah.
Because when they did my gallbladder, they just told me not to eat anything. They made you poop everything out before they did your surgery?
Yeah.
Why?
I don't know.
Okay, anyway. My name is Sabrina, and the gnarliest medication I was ever prescribed was essentially a legal form of LSD that they gave me after I had my abortion to stop the bleeding.
I thought it was called a DNC.
DNC is basically a medical abortion.
Yeah, well, they gotta change the label, I guess, for
People
whatever.
just want to use like a less scary word, especially if it's due to miscarriage like mine was, you know, because it's all like political or whatever, but...
It's a goddamn... Oh, Jesus, we're not getting into this. Okay.
And this is...
Sumo Punx! Oh,
well,
God.
We're getting canceled on this episode for sure.
So, we have a very special episode.
Well, yeah, it's going to be pretty special already since we're already talking about abortions and shit.
No, and then there's also the fact that it was like an ergot-derived medication.
Oh, yeah. No, the fungus that they developed LSD from, it's the same one that I can't remember the name of the medication, but they make it out of the same shit. I actually could not take all of it because it fucked with me so bad.
I think Albert Hoffman, the guy that actually discovered LSD, whenever he was synthesizing these different chemicals, it was actually to find a a constrictor of striated muscles.
Yeah.
So that, to aid in childbirth. That was, that's the reason he was fighting those anyway.
That. And I've heard other stuff like, it was for like heart issues or something like that. I just decided to keep bleeding because I didn't want to because we ended up going to the Met like the day after. Remember the Mighty Eagle Teams tournament down in San Antonio? And
you felt all weird the whole time.
Yeah, so I was doing commentary on that tournament, so I was like, fuck it, I'm just gonna fucking bleed. I'm not gonna be sitting here like half tripping trying to talk about this fucking sumo in front of me. But anyway, we have a pretty interesting episode for you guys today. We got to sit down and talk with Brandon Rudzinski
of Rock City Sumo.
Yes, Rock City Sumo up there in Detroit.
And what's really cool, if you look at their the logo that they have on their social media, it's Godzilla in a mawashi doing Shiko in a destroyed city.
Fuck yes!
And there's nothing that speaks to my heart and my inner child more than that. And that's actually one of the reasons why I really wanted to talk to this guy, was just on that logo alone. And, their new sumo club. And, we heard of Grand Rapids, but we didn't hear about, Detroit. And I was super curious. So I think it's really fucking cool that there's more sumo clubs popping up. And I also think it's really fucking cool that he got to meet Hakuho.
Oh yeah, we definitely get into that in the interview. But before we play that interview for you guys, let's go ahead and do a run through of the upcoming events. September 23rd, we have the Beer City Sumo Open. I believe this is the second annual Beer City Sumo Open, is that right? Hosted by Grand Rapids Sumo Club. Real beer, real clay dohyo, real sumo. Registration is $50. Get that real clay dohyo feel before Worlds. It's going to be at 975 Ottawa Avenue Northwest in Grand Rapids, Michigan.
It's part of that art prize. What do they call that? Is that like a
festival?
A festival, a competition?
Something.
Yeah, but it's called art prize. You don't win an art prize. It's just called art prize.
Yeah, don't ask us why they decided to name it so weird.
October 7th and 8th, the World Sumo Championships in Tokyo, Japan.
Woo!
We have lots of folks headed out there for Worlds. Look them up on the internet, send them money so they can get to Worlds and, eat when they're in Japan. All that stuff. It's expensive to get out there, but if we want to show everybody what U.S. Sumotori are made out of, we gotta get some infrastructure.
Then on October 21st through 23rd will be the World Combat Games in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia.
And this is going to be pretty fucking awesome. This is where that video where we saw Ura fighting, I think it was Batir. And this is back when Ura was a lightweight. But he does that Azori, on that guy. And then just kind of does like a little backflip over him, after they both land. But where Ura got popular, where his sumo got the most, where everyone just kind of started noticing how badass he was at the World Combat Games. So maybe we'll see some more stuff like that. November 3rd and 4th, Sumo Den's Olympia Sumo Championship. Happening at the Mr. Olympia Fitness Expo in Orlando, Florida. Weigh-ins are November 1st and 2nd. The tournament itself is the 3rd and 4th, 10 a.m. through 4 p.m. both days, or so the thing says. You can find more information if you go to the Facebook event page. You will find a link to Smooth Comp. Smooth Comp is a tournament hosting, it kind of helps make tournaments run a little bit easier, does all your bracketing and stuff like that. So there's a link to Smooth Comp within the Facebook event page that has all the details. I highly recommend you guys go to this and compete if you can. I can't because I'm fucking broke. But there's going to be all kinds of elite level sumotori there, and it's going to be so fucking awesome. They even got, what's his name? Rui from Brazil. He was one of the medalists at the World Games for sumo. And that is a bad motherfucker. So I'm pretty fucking excited about this. Even though I don't get to go and compete, I'm still going to watch and scream at the TV because that's what I do.
Fuck yeah. Then following that on November 18th is the Midwest Sumo Open hosted by Ohio Sumo.
Yay!
That's going to be Saturday, November 18th, noon to 4 local time at 930 West 7th Street in Bloomington, Indiana. You can sign up for this tournament if you want to be a competitor at indiana.ohio.sumo@gmail.com. And remember, Ohio is spelled Ohayo.
Like how to say good morning in Japanese.
Exactly.
Ohio.
indiana.ohio.sumo@gmail.com.
And December 16th through 17th, the Texas Classic Sumo Tournament, hosted by Shogeki Sumo. More info will be rolled out as it becomes available, and typically we don't go that far into the future whenever we're talking about our events, but the commentators of this particular event are going to be Sumo Punx.
Yeah, wait a minute, I thought you were competing.
Yeah, I'm going to compete, and I'll probably sit down there with you too.
Oh my god, I can interview you!
You can!
If you want to know more about the upcoming sumo events around the world, you can find that info at sumo411.com.
And now here is Brandon Rudzinski of Rock City Sumo and all of the crazy shit that he's done.
All right, here we go.
All right, so today on this glorious, beautiful day 2 of the Aki Basho, we are sitting with the illustrious Brandon Rudzinski of Rock City Sumo out of Detroit, Michigan. How are you doing, Brandon?
Doing pretty good. How's it going, Sumo Punx?
Not bad, not bad, not bad. We are having a very lazy Sunday and it feels pretty good. It's not 110 degrees like it has been all summer, so it's gorgeous.
Yeah.
I'm digging it.
No, I'm really appreciating this 95 degree weather right now.
It sounds sick and wrong to say I'm appreciating 95 degrees, but it's just been disrespectful out there all freaking summer.
Very rude.
Did you guys have an outdoor training session today?
Actually, Dallas did, but I ended up not going because I've had a weekend.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I've had very little sleep, and I had all intents, to go to Keiko today, but I'm staying home. Oh man! But where do you guys practice up with Rock City?
So I train jiu-jitsu. We have I talked to my coach about letting us borrow the dojo on Sundays because there's no classes going on, and he was totally cool with it. So luckily we have a air-conditioned, really nice mats. Pretty decent sized place we train out of.
That's glorious. So is that where your martial arts background began, is jiu-jitsu?
In my adult life, yeah. When I was in my teenage years, I did taekwondo for 5 years.
Yeah.
Before high school, before I became a pothead.
That's what I did when I was a kid, but I only did it for like 3 weeks before I decided that like the guy running the class was an asshole and I didn't want to be part of that anymore.
Oh.
So,
Yeah, a lot of them are. Yeah.
yeah, so I took gymnastics instead, and that was kind of embarrassing because I didn't have any actual like gym clothes to wear. So I found a pair of shorts in my mom's dresser, and it turned out to actually be like one of her boyfriend's boxers, and I didn't realize that's what it was.
Oh, no.
Anyway, that's my embarrassing gymnastics class story.
Oh,
I'm
man.
sure everybody wanted to know that.
So you started out doing Taekwondo in like your teenage years, and how old are you now?
28.
So when was it that you decided to, to get back into martial arts and, start doing like jujitsu?
I started working out, and I was like, getting a little ego because I was stronger than my friends, and I went to his house. We were smoking weed, and I was like, let's arm wrestle, bros. He's like, why don't we just for real wrestle? And it was like winter outside. It was like, early spring, but still like cold outside winter. So not warmed up at all. We went outside in his front yard, just went 100% wrestle, and neither of us had any wrestling skills, so it was just pathetic.
Oh.
At that point, I realized if I were to ever be in any sort of altercation on the ground, I would just get my ass kicked. So I just started training, and I sort of fell in love with it.
So, doing something like jujitsu, were you doing gi or no gi or both? Or
Yeah, we do primarily gi, but probably one day a week no gi.
nice. So how kind of whenever you're doing the gi, you have something that you could grab onto. It's easier to do certain kinds of throws and techniques like that. But with no gi, did that kind of start feeling like you could have some foundations that you could use for sumo, or does it just feel like totally different?
I mean, yeah, when you're in a gi, you have access to the collars and the belt even to grab. But no gi, it's a lot slippier, a lot more slippery, fast paced. I enjoyed no gi though. I enjoyed the quicker pace, the less friction because the no gis.
Yeah, so when you guys first started, I did see a few of your first videos of some of your first sumo practices, and it looked like before you guys had mawashis that you were just using your jujitsu belts. Did that kind of have like a different feel, different kind of? Did it hinder your techniques, or do you feel like that that it was like a good stand-in at the time?
I remember just bought his first mawashi today. So he brought that to practice today.
Nice.
We've still been using jiu-jitsu belts, which it's not as great as a mawashi, but it's a suitable replacement. Just got to get the rest of the guys on board now to get their own mawashi. But one guy got one, the second guy's about to get his, and there'll be three of us, and then we'll just peer pressure and bully other guys into getting them.
So what made you want to start doing sumo? Out of your jiu-jitsu class?
Yeah, because you started having all this like ground experience where you like, oh, I've tipped too far in this direction. Now I got to go back to like more upright stuff.
No, not at all. I over the winter, I was like bulking up, and I just found like a recipe for chunko, and just started to learn about sumo athletes and how the crazy diets and just the super regimented training schedule, and I sort of just got really interested in how crazy they are as athletes, how dedicated they are. They're living in the stable and the daily training, and I just started watching a bunch of documentaries. Like I went to r/sumo and just like they have like a list of documentaries, like probably like 10 or 15 of them. I like watched all of those in like a week and just got super hooked.
Awesome.
Started watching like every documentary I could on them, and then that turned into Googling, sumo near me. That happened to be like 2 weeks before Grand Rapids was putting on their Riverfront Open
Hell yeah.
tournament/training camp. So I just went to that, and I got hooked.
Oh, fuck yes.
Awesome. I think that's the first time we've ever heard somebody say that they got into sumo because of the food.
That's fucking awesome. I love that.
That was the gateway to sumo that's the first time I've heard someone say that was their gateway to sumo.
Yeah, the food and the training schedule.
That's awesome. So do you guys do a lot of training with the Grand Rapids Club?
We had after the Hakuho show, Mika and Matt from Chicago Sumo Club. They ended up coming down and doing a joint practice with us, but other than that, so far, not yet.
So not a lot of Degekos. How long has your club been around? Like, when was it officially established?
Officially, it was like June 16th.
Oh, nice. So you guys are
so pretty new.
Yeah, the freshly born shrill cries of a brand new sumo club.
Baby Sumotori.
Love that. I freaking love it. So, whenever you guys went up to Canada to go see Hakuho, like, how in the hell did that come about? Because whenever we heard about it, it was like, oh, here in about a week, Hakuho is going to be in Canada. How did you guys end up hearing about that and getting to Canada to meet Hakuho?
Yeah, because you just mentioned it, and you mentioned, like, Matt Shields and stuff, and I think, really, it didn't become real in my mind until I saw those pictures of Matt Shields up there with Hakuho.
Yeah, and I saw you, too. There was, like, you and Matt Shields and Micah Hepler, and I was like, I know those guys. I don't know that dude, but I know all these other guys.
Yeah, it's all Matt's doing. He asked me about it probably like 2 weeks before, and I was like, I'd want to go, but I also, the Consulate Cup is in like 2 weeks or whatever, so like I kind of got to go to training, And he ended up striking a deal like, we'll go there and then we'll drive back and do a joint practice on Sunday. So I couldn't say no, and Matt drove up. He picked Mika up first in Grand Rapids, and they both drove to my house, spent the night. We left in the morning, got there around noon. Got in line for the meet and greet. They had a translator in place there to talk, so we could talk to him. Got to shake his hand, take some pictures. It was really cool.
That's so awesome. So what was he like? Like, what did it feel like just to like stand in the same room with him?
Does he speak any English?
It was pretty surreal. I don't think if he does,
not a
it's
lick
very,
of English.
Very, very minimal. Yeah. But yeah, he just had a very big presence, like you would imagine, I guess, Yokozuna.
Oh yeah.
So like, what was his like? Kind of like just hearing his voice. Does he have like a big boomy voice, or does he just kind of talk really soft? Or
it's a very booming, loud. Yeah. Stun. Yeah.
Oh, that is awesome. It really does feel like, we get to be a part of that world. Even though, being amateur sumo wrestlers, we're not part of, the grand sumo. There are still, pathways. Like a lot of the, like guys like Endo, Ichinojo, Ono Sato, a lot of these, and Shishi competed at the US Sumo Open. And there's a guy that's part of the Appalachian Sumo Club named Marky Nas. He got to fight Shishi, back in those days. I was like, oh, that is so freaking cool. But there is a lot of, what'd you say, exchange or connectedness or something like that with the Grand Sumo world and amateur sumo. But still, it just it feels good to be a part of that, but even though we're not like, the grand central focus of it.
We're like a small, distant part of it, but we do still have those connections, like when we had Gagamaru come over and...
Yeah. And Kokai.
Kokai, yeah.
Yeah. And then still, even like with Yama, out in St. Louis, and then in Florida, we have Soslan, Wakanoho.
Oh, yeah.
And heck, even in Texas, we have, Tom Zabel, someone who's been involved in sumo for freaking 30 years?
Something
like that.
Long ass time.
Oh, yeah. But it's so cool to like really get a feel for how, our amateur sumo world really does connect, with the larger sumo world, and start to kind of have like some conversations and exchanges, with some of those people. And especially your club is so freaking new. You just did your second term, but you got to meet freaking Hakuho. That's like
I never even thought that Hakuho would have even come to this continent to begin with. I mean, that just blew my mind when I first heard about it.
So how did you guys end up like getting on stage with him and, doing your demo, with Hakuho?
Yeah, so Matt Shields, he knew some of the guys from the Toronto Judo/Sumo Club there. But we weren't planning on going on stage or being a part of that at all or anything. Basically, after we shook his hand and did the meet and greet, I just saw a bunch of white dudes getting mawashi'd up, and I just walked over, started talking to them, introduced myself, and then we pretty much just asked if we could join them, and they were like super cool about it and let us. We had to run to the car, get our mawashis, run back. They had he had those two guys with him. Who I don't believe were professional sumo, but they were maybe in college sumo or something. The sumo, sake and sumo guys, sushi and
the sumo. Oh yeah, those guys are they are ex pros. They didn't get to like Jurio or Makuuchi or anything, but they were definitely pros before.
Okay, yeah, they were the guys who put our mawashis on. We had pictures of them doing that. It was crazy.
That's badass.
And they had like a professional stretcher guy there who was like, "Hey, I'm just here to help you guys warm up and like, manually stretch you guys out." It was pretty crazy.
Ooh.
Okay, we need one of those in the Dallas club.
Yeah, we do.
He was like pressing, doing helping us do the Matawari. I was like, "So how'd you get this gig?" He's like, "Oh, I volunteered."
See, that just proves that a lot of the time, the only thing you need to gain access to anything in life is to just ask.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, that's the biggest hurdle right there.
Yeah, so Hakuo was doing his own demonstration with those two guys, sort of describing it while he instructed them for the crowd. They were doing Shiko. He was counting it out, and me and one of the other guys from the Toronto club, we're just like, if Hakuo is going to be counting out, we're going to do it alongside them. So we were off the stage on the side doing Shiko, and apparently what I was told is that Hakuo saw us down there doing it along with him, and then called the club up to be a part of his demo. So originally, after his demo, they were going to do call them on stage for the Toronto demonstration. But I think he included us in his, which was insane. So we got to do Shiko, do some Butsukari with those guys. It was just crazy.
That's fucking nuts. That's
Holy
so cool.
Shit. It's like God himself inviting you to be a part of creating a river or a mountain or something. That shit's fucking insane, dude. Oh my god.
There's actually there's like footage. So after we shook his hand and everything, and I told him, me and my friends are from America. We participate in amateur sumo. We have our own clubs and blah, blah, blah. He's just like, oh, very good. Translated very good. Told him we got a tournament coming up here in like 2 weeks and asked for his blessing of strength. And he put his hand on my thigh and was just like, ooh.
Oh, that's awesome. Holy shit. And you did really well at the Consulate's Cup. That was like your second sumo tournament?
Oh, thank you. Yeah, second one.
What was it that made you decide, you know what, I'm going down to Texas. I'm doing this tournament?
I don't know. The ad was really cool. Pretty much, I was still riding the high from my first tournament, and I just I wanted to get more experience. Wanted to get out there and just continue to get more matches in a tournament setting. Trying to attend as many events as I can, just because I'm running this club and I'm not by any means like a master or anything. So just getting as much experience and exposure as I can to help sort of bring back to my guys.
So you did the Riverfront Sumo Open. That was at was that like an anime convention or like a Japanese cultural thing, or?
It was in the middle of an anime convention. Yeah.
Did you? Honestly,
it was pretty funny.
In the Dallas Sumo Club, we actually did pick up a couple of recruits from the anime convention, and they're pretty solid recruits too. So.
Hell yeah, I tell everybody, go get them weebs, dude.
Yeah, the weebs, they know.
It's hilarious. There's a bunch of chairs, for spectators, and there's like 20 different Spider-Man, Naruto's, and all these different anime characters watching us.
But I don't know. I really do think that a lot of those conventions are like untapped reservoirs of good recruits for martial arts, and you find martial artists in there too.
Yeah, and specifically sumo. I mean, you have stuff like jujitsu where a lot of the focus has been from like the Brazilian tradition and everything, but sumo is so just like quintessentially Japanese, you know?
Yeah.
So for people who are like hardcore Japanophiles or whatever you want to call them, I don't like using that word actually.
They're weebs. We'll say weeb.
Yeah, it kind of sounds dirty, but you know, the weebs, the fucking weeaboos, who just love anything about Japanese culture, like those are the ones that I think are the ripest for picking as new recruits for a sumo club.
Yeah, and so whenever you were learning your basics, when was it that you feel like that you kind of, got like a good grasp on it to where you could kind of like start like, relaying that information?
So before the Riverfront Sumo Open, they had like a training day before, and the tournament, and then the training day after. So my first exposure was like an hour-long class before the day before. They were just,
wow.
So pretty much telling me to get low and, get in the lower. Part of my big issue is the carryover from jiu-jitsu is by standing up straight, which is like horrible for sumo. So
Yeah.
a lot of unlearning that. But after that, I just purchased the Sumo Skills book. A lot of the guys
Speaking
there.
of Tom Zabel.
Yeah.
Yep. Read that a few times, and it's great. I mean, it would be awesome to have a master there or someone really experienced to sort of teach you and sort of. But once you get the basics, it's not rocket science. I mean, it's not trying to. There's definitely a lot of nuance and details and stuff that are important and would be great to have, but it shouldn't put you off from starting if you don't have that.
Yeah, essentially, once you know the basic way that it, like, a sumo practice is structured, you do your stretches, your shiko, your suriashi, and, kind of once you get your suriashi form down, that's kind of, just what you use, in your bouts, or at least what you're trying to, keep your body.
Right.
Yeah.
How do you think you've progressed between that first training class before the Riverside tournament and now?
Probably, I mean, my form is definitely a lot better. Gabe Unick from Grand Rapids, he drilled into me sort of shuriashi and how to sort of flow with it. And mine was absolutely horrible in the beginning. It was really choppy, and but I learned to sort of flow with it, moving the hips and getting the sort of rhythm to it. And I just practiced that daily for a while until I felt really comfortable with it. But yeah. Now compared to then, I guess my starting position is a lot more, I guess, explosive. Before I was like sort of dumping all my weight into my hands, and like now I sort of use my hands as like kickstands, right, just to hold yourself up for a moment. A lot of just little things like that.
And are these like the little things that you teach other people who come to you interested in sumo?
Yeah, which kind of sucks because I originally. From day one to now, I've had to sort of tell some guys like, "Hey guys, I know I told you this, but I was just informed that this is actually the right way to do it instead." So,
Yeah.
Well, it just kind of comes that way as well. And you have to kind of keep in mind too that, sumo is practiced by like lots of different people, and everyone's going to kind of have their own
Slightly different versions. Yeah.
I was told by somebody, don't get so deep into your squat whenever you're doing your tachi because it's going to take a whole lot of effort, to get up. But then I've been told by other people, get into your deepest squat when you do your tachi because the lower your tachi is, the more effective
force you can generate.
Yeah. So it's, I think it just kind of depends, but once you get a feel, for your style of sumo and, how you could impose your style on other people and it all starts to click, I think that's what's most important is just finding, what works for you as an individual.
Yeah, and then those people who you're teaching stuff to as well will eventually be able to find their own quote-unquote brand of sumo, and they can start teaching other people and so on and so forth. Right. Speaking of the other people who have joined your club, what is it that you think has been attracting them to the Rock City Sumo Club, or how is it that you recruit people for the club?
Started off, I just put some boosted ads on Facebook, just pumping probably put like $50 into that total, just so I can get a first handful of core members. I haven't done any of that in a while, but we pretty much have like 4 or 5 guys who are pretty solid, pretty committed here. One of them is like a huge fan of Grand Sumo. Another one is just a fan of martial arts in general. We have a judo black belt.
Nice.
He's also an MMA guy. Another guy who's never had any sort of like martial arts training or physical anything at all. So it was his first day of ever working out was our sumo practice, which is cool.
Oh, hell yeah.
Another guy who's a jiu-jitsu head. Another guy who's an ex-offensive lineman in high school. Hasn't done anything in a few years, but he came in and just started smashing everybody on his
Nice. Oh, man, we have a couple of those in Dallas. There was a guy that I fought at the Consulate's Cup named Jared Parham, and, he's on the Dallas team. He was the second bout that I fought, and I almost had him out there at, right towards the end, and he was on one foot, and I was trying, I should have squatted down and pushed, but instead I was trying to crush him down and out, so I was standing straight up, so I didn't have much momentum, and then he freaking got his balance back and then, pushed me right back out. But that guy used to do offensive line and football, and his tachi is just
Yeah.
So you mentioned the guy who had previously not really engaged in any sort of physical activity before. How long ago was it that he had joined the club?
I think he showed up on the second practice we had.
Oh, wow. And what would you say his progress has been like?
Definitely a little bit slower than, someone who's, previous grappling experience or football experience. But
sure.
I took him to the gym as well just because he was interested in, getting stronger. So I just sort of took him to the gym and walked through just a basic workout for each body parts. And haven't had any updates on that, but I hope he's going to the gym and he hasn't been. We've had a lot of rain here in Michigan. His house flooded pretty bad a week or two ago. Haven't heard from him in a little while.
Oh, poor guy.
That made me think of one of the positive things about sumo that I've seen is that it does help certain people feel like this is what I can do to start improving my own physical health, to get the the fitness started that I need to be working on.
So that's kind of like where I was when I first started sumo as well, was because I hadn't done any type of physical activity in 20 years.
Yeah.
Literally 20 years,
Except boning.
Yeah. Well, not just boning, but I was playing drums, I was mostly doing musician type stuff, but at the time I was 530 pounds and, starting sumo, helped me lose. I got down to 385. I mean, I'm back up to 420 now, but
420.
Yeah. But I lost that good chunk of weight. But I really do think, that guy that you have that, this is his first time doing anything. I really think that sumo is a good way to unlock physical fitness and wanting to do exercise, because some people whenever I was in high school, I was one of those guys who's I don't want to do hang out those stupid jocks, I'm all into guitars and girls.
Yeah,
so
for sure. And I think another big part of it too is that what other martial art or sport in general outside of maybe US football do you see people with body types that are larger and bulkier and do have more body fat on them that are also considered to be elite athletes? You get people in the pros fucking Ichi Nojo. If the average American were to look at somebody like him just on the street, they would never assume this is an athlete, So I think that's another thing that really attracts people that otherwise wouldn't have an interest in getting involved in any sort of physical fitness because of the social stigma and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, you look at somebody like frickin' Daisho and you're like, yeah, that's what peak performance looks like.
Right.
I think martial arts in general are just a great way to, if you're not, a lot of people don't working out just to work out is sort of boring, right? Yeah. But if you can, start a martial art alongside working out, it gives you sort of a purpose. I'm getting stronger so that I can do better in the ring, right?
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. That's why I, work out during the week. We only have I only am able to go to the sumo practice on Sundays, but during the week, I have my regimen, that I keep up with, and it definitely helps. Certainly helped at the Consulate's Cup.
That's why I did yoga, so I can get into all of those crazy positions for the good boning. And once this new medication starts working, hopefully I'll be able to get back to it. But we'll
to
see.
the yoga?
Yes.
But
You do the splits?
I used to be able to. I used to actually do like a form of aerobic kickboxing and of course the yoga, and even after I quit gymnastics, I would still do a little bit of various like tumbling stuff,
she
but
still has a really high Shiko too.
yeah, my Shiko's
Nice.
higher than Matt's, even
Yeah.
though I haven't been doing it lately. But
Were you middleweight or light heavyweight at the Consulate's Cup?
Light heavy.
Light heavy? So that means you got to fight guys like, did you fight Sam?
Yep.
Oh, dude. So,
Sam Kempka.
yeah, I always call him Berserker, because like when I first fought that dude was February of this year, and it was at the Mighty Eagle Teams tournament, and it was his first tournament back, after being out. And he literally launched his entire body at me. Like, instead of, right off the tachi, instead of starting low and just, doing a forward and upward attack, he just jumped off the starting line and just threw himself at me. And then I was like, oh my God, I got to throw this guy. And then he just pushed me out. And I was like, what the fuck just happened? This fucking berserker, this fucking Viking ass motherfucker just comes in here, pushes all 400 pounds of me out in like 2 seconds. So I every time I see him, I keep thinking, okay, his name is Sam. But my brain just immediately thinks berserker, like every time. So it's like, my sumo moves are like a drunk berserker. Would you like some making fuck berserker?
oh my God! For those who've ever seen Clerks, that was a reference to that. Yeah.
But if I'm remembering correctly, it didn't seem like that there were a whole lot of light heavyweight competitors at the Consulate's Cup.
Yeah, there was like 6 of us total.
Yeah, I think they did like a round robin. So how did you come out of the Consulate's Cup?
I ended up getting 3rd place in light heavy. Yeah.
Woo!
Hell yeah. So you brought home hardware. I've never brought home hardware. It's just freaking...
You will. One of these days you will.
Yeah, before I retire. But did you do open weight?
Yeah, I did. I got absolutely smashed.
Oh, man. I forgot to register. I just kind of sat there and I was like, man, I should have registered. But then I started feeling my cramps and my bruises. I was like, well, maybe not.
What would you say was the most difficult bout for you at the Consulate's Cup?
Yeah, Sam Kempka. So I had 2 matches. My first 2 matches, I won. And my 3rd match was Sam. We had a really strong collision that sort of just like, hit me super hard.
Kind of rung your bell, huh?
Yeah, rang the bell, and then sort of lost my game plan after that, and we ended up tying that match. We had to do a redo.
Oh, I remember that. Yeah.
Torianosh.
And then we had the rematch, and I fumbled it. I got thrown out, and then it really sucked because after that double header right there, I went back and got some water, and I heard my name called again. I had to go up for a 3rd time in a row, a 3rd match sort of in a row.
Oh, shit.
So I know now you can take a break. You can catch your breath. I heard someone like tap me on the back and was like, "Hey, you're up again." And I sort of like panicked. I was like, "Oh shit, gotta go." And on the footage you can see like I'm just like panting still while walking up to the ring.
Oh,
I
man.
think it was Jake who was announcing on the stream. He was like, "Yeah, he's gonna need a break after that. You go ahead and take a break," And then I ran up. He's like, "Oh, apparently he doesn't need a break."
Oh.
not saying I would have won if I caught my breath, but at least would have put myself in a better position to do well.
Oh,
That's
man.
the only regret that I have. But other than that, it was great fun. The competitors I faced were really strong, and got some footage to review for next time.
Oh, hell yeah. Were there any sumo tori that you enjoyed watching, or was there anyone sumo that really stood out to you?
Yeah, I guess. What was his name? Jay. He was from. I think he's from Texas.
Oh, Jay Scriven?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
His Tachi was monstrous.
Man, I wanted to feel that Tachi, but he freaking hinked me.
Yeah.
It totally threw me off my game plan. I was like, okay, I'm just going to absorb that Tachi, and then I'm just going to muscle him out, because I'm pretty hard to move, but apparently not for him.
Yeah, it's the way that he gets, he sort of just like rams people and opens them up, and then just follows up. That's just beautiful. I love that.
Yeah, he really does just have like a natural disposition just for sumo movements. It just seems to click with him. I don't know. He's got an innate talent for sumo, and that's fucking awesome.
Anyone for you that stood out?
Oh, anyone that stood out for me? Fucking Zura. Man,
Oh, yeah.
From Georgia, like...
Yeah.
His sumo wasn't the most beautiful, and his form was, not necessarily the most, etched in stone or anything like that, but he was so inhumanly strong. That was freaking wild to watch, like, him and Hayden, because, like, whenever I fight Hayden, like, I only beat Hayden once. Like, when I very first fought him, that's, his balance wasn't the greatest when he very first started. I think it was right before his first U.S. Sumo Open. And then whenever he started practicing with the club more regularly, I got close to beating him a couple times, but just wasn't able to seal the deal just because he's so fucking strong, and he practices his explosiveness in his legs, so often that he does his tachi every day, and he does it into like a heavy bag. So I don't have like anything or anybody I could really practice my tachi with on a daily basis. Nothing I could really slam into except for the tree outside.
No, we're gonna do it. We're gonna get like a futon mattress and some rope and just like tie it around the trunk of that tree and then be like, okay, go at it.
That's actually a great idea.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. But seeing, Hayden, someone who's, power and technique, I'm, extremely intimate with, and I know, what he's capable of, to just see that just be swept away by Zura was just like, Jesus. That was nuts.
Yeah, no, if it's the guy that like a former Makuuchi Rikshi brings to the tournament, he's gonna be stiff competition.
Oh, yeah.
For sure.
But like I said, he didn't necessarily have like, the most gracious sumo, but it was powerful sumo. It was like, it felt like a kaiju battle, it was so fucking cool. But Zura was really, really cool to watch, and I really love watching JJ Jones. He had moved up a weight class. When I first met JJ, he was in lightweight, and I fought him at the Cowboy Cup in 2022, and he just like, right at the tachi, we kind of felt each other's weight and, momentum, and then like, a split second later, he just threw me. And I was like, where the hell? But so, seeing him, put on a little bit more mass and compete in a higher weight class, that was cool for me because his skill and his speed are just rocked up to its purest form. And to see him, try his hand at, heavier competitors, that was really fucking cool to see.
Christina, too.
Christina
Jones.
did fucking great. And it was cool to see one of my teammates, Natalie Jones, her sister, Caitlin, she's the sumo freak. She's the one that's way into it. We call her Lady Hakuho, like at the club.
Yeah, because she's always forearm blasting.
Yeah, she's got that forearm shiver, and she's always blasting people in the face with it. She's pretty brutal. But her sister, because together, we would call them the Twister Sisters. But she kind of fell off of sumo for a little while. We hadn't seen her in some months, but then she came back, for consulates, and it was just like, yeah, she's still got it. She's still got that strength.
She does. I can't remember. Were you there for the after party?
Oh yeah, he was there. He was sitting by us.
Okay,
Yeah.
That's right. I'm sorry. I had a lot of whiskey.
Yeah, she was very whiskey.
I I don't drink very often, so like, God, how many drinks did I have? I think I had 4, and I was just like,
You were blitzed.
blasted. Yeah.
I was just sitting there all freaking, because I had a couple of those gummies, from down the street.
Yeah.
So, I was chill, and I was like, yeah, this is pretty good. But then, like, watching everybody, do that drunken en masse freaking karaoke, because it wasn't just one person singing a song. There was like 10 people, kind of standing between the aisles, just screaming along to whatever the hell it was. The War Pigs one was great. I thought that was a lot of fun.
Yes, that was the one that me and Rick picked.
And then fucking Ben doing the Barbie song, the Ken song.
Oh, yes. Fuck yes. Okay, so post Consulate's Cup karaoke, who was most impressive to you? If you can't remember it, that's fine. I can't remember if you were drinking or not, too, but I understand.
Yeah, I had a few. I had to cut myself off because I had a long drive down like a twisting road at night. It was, yeah. It surprised me. A lot of them actually had pretty good voices.
Yeah. Paul Gutierrez actually was the most surprising for me.
Yeah, I didn't know. I mean, I know Paul does boxing, he does sumo, he operates, several, vape shops and shit.
Apparently he's also an Eddie Vedder fucking impressionist. So.
I didn't know that guy could sing, damn.
And then,
what's the guy's, the Garza brother, he did that, with the bodies hit the floor. That was
that's Rick.
That was Rick. Yes, that was Rick.
Yeah, we had run down because I was gonna go all the way back to Austin to my friend Helen's house where we were staying because I forgot to pack clean underwear, and so I was gonna go grab some underwear, grab something to eat, and then like come back. But my blood sugar started dropping like real bad on the way there, so I was like, "Fuck it, we're going to Taco Bell," and grabbed a couple burritos, and then after that, I was like, you know what?
Let's just go back.
I'm just going to go commando, fuck it. And so when we get back, that's when I see Rick, I could tell he's had a few. I could tell that look on his face as he's sitting there screaming, let the bodies hit the floor. And I was just like, oh shit. And then he had like a crew of people, fists pumping in the air, and like he was, Rick's got that bit of metal showmanship about him. He knows how to work that shit. I was like, oh damn.
I'm glad he's in our band now.
I know, right? Oh yeah, we're gonna start like a sumo themed like hardcore punk band called Kataban.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now we have a place where we could actually get loud and practice. So yeah, now we just gotta just do it.
If you guys need any gutturals for like a feat or anything, I could maybe pitch in.
Oh fuck yeah, that'd be the shit.
Do you play any instruments?
No, I used in high school I was in like a deathcore little band.
Oh, nice.
I don't practice too much anymore, but if I get warmed up, I can make some pretty sick sounds.
Man, I can't. The one that I can't quite do is whenever you hear those like guttural vocals where it kind of sounds like cricket noises like on the top, so it's so low and booming, but you can hear that we're just out there going.
Yeah.
Man, I wish I could do that.
That wasn't bad.
Like, I could do the toilet vocals. Hold on, let me see if I can do it. Hold on, take. That's like the best that I could do. Oh damn.
What kind of advice would you give to people who are wanting to start their own sumo club? People who either are just now getting into sumo and want other people to do it with, or people who have maybe been into it for a while and want to start trying it out on their own. How would you advise them to go about that?
Yeah, it's kind of weird. Like I've never started like a club or anything before, so I just sort of the closest clubs to me were Grand Rapids, which is 2.5 hours. The next closest one is Dayton, Ohio, which is like 5 hours. So I just said, fuck it. I'm sure I can find some people. So I just started it. Didn't even think about it. Like I just do it. If not you, then who? Like, it's not that hard. I mean,
it just takes the decision to just do it.
Yeah, I was a little nervous the first few times, but I mean, we're starting to become pretty good friends with these guys we're training with, and it's just going to get bigger from here. So it's really good fun to see everybody grow and see yourself grow, and it's great fun.
So, how close do you follow pro sumo, and do you have any favorite rikishi or ones that you follow more closely than others?
I don't follow it too closely. I just got into it. Actually, our first practice was on the day of the July Bakyo, so that was the first time I actually followed it. Don't really have. I can't really remember. I have horrible memory with like Japanese names.
That's a lot of syllables to memorize, honestly, really.
Yeah.
I can't
sort
even
of the basic
remember
ones.
English names, so yeah, you're fine.
Just sort of some of the basic ones like Chiano Fuji, Toshinoshin,
Yes.
Anho, obviously Hakuo. So some of the greats are the ones that I know mostly.
Oh, hell yeah. That's a good place to start, honestly. Especially, like Chia no Fuji. And just to see his style, the way that he dealt with those bigger boys. And,
Yeah.
and you're pretty tall and you're not like super heavy like me, but, you're built, you got a solid foundation. And you got like some killer fucking like arm and shoulder muscles, so like you could probably do like a style similar to Chia no Fuji and really just toss around those big boys.
Oh yeah, because he had like the most beautiful fucking shoulders. Holy shit, dude! I wish I could look like that.
Yeah, my mom thinks Chia no Fuji was fine.
Oh yeah, that's, Chia no Fuji's your daddy.
Oh my god, that's funny because I think that's something she said before.
She's probably said that before. Yes.
You tell us to everyone who comes on the show.
That Chia no Fuji's his daddy. No, I think you're the first one, honestly.
Oh damn. So, you said that there was that guy on your team that started, that's like super obsessed with pro sumo. Is there like anybody that, because sometimes, in our club, we're like, you should try this, be like this, Rikishi, try what he does in that situation. Like, does he ever, pull anything out like that? It's like, yeah, try to do what, do what Tochinoshin would do here or something like that.
He told me his favorite wrestler here. Let's see if I can find it. He's like a triathlon runner. He's like a very fit like marathon runner. He's like 160.
Oh,
so
damn.
He's a lightweight. He's actually joining. I'm bringing two guys. There's the what's it called? Beer City Open in Grand Rapids here in 2 weeks.
Oh, hell yeah.
And you got two guys who want to compete that I'm really excited to bring with me here.
Fuck yes. So, you haven't ever practiced on a clay dohyo before, have you?
No. Nope.
Oh man, it's a little bit different from the mats. The mats, you have a lot of would you say resistance, or because you could slide, on the mats, like we did at the Consulate's Cup,
Yeah.
but it's a lot more slippery on the clay.
Yeah, and also get used to falling from a height of like 1.5 feet or so.
It's really not all that bad.
It can be.
It can be, but it's really not. But
we had one practice that was out like in a baseball diamond, and it can definitely like falling on that just does. Yeah, it's horrible.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
It's pretty.
I'm not sure how high they're going to be building that one up. Hopefully, it's not regulation height, but I don't know.
If it's anything like last year, I think last year Gabe did try to build it to be like a traditional dohyo, so I would assume he'd try to do it the same way this year.
It might be a little bit higher, or the same height as the one at the Kokugi-kan, but they have the sand. They put the sand in the dohyo as well, and that kind of like increases the slippery factor. So something that I heard from a few Japanese competitors, and especially something that I hear from Eric Wynn and Edibo, is to train your toe grip strength.
Yes, absolutely.
Like whenever you do shiko, not the foot that you're raising in the air, obviously, but the foot that you're, stabilizing yourself with, try to grip, the clay or the mat, with your toes as you're, lifting your leg in the air. And whenever you're at the edge of the Tawara, really grip. So, whenever they try to push you over or out, if you're gripping with your toes really hard, it's, they're going to have a little bit rougher of a time.
What kind of exercises can I do to strengthen my toes?
If you get like
That's something I've never even thought of before.
if you get like a really long ribbon, or what do they call those things? Those exercise bands?
Yeah.
And then you just roll it out and then just use your toes to kind of pull it towards you, just to kind of scrunch it up.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, I think last year Gabe had that like a kind of a training session, the day before. If you're able to get there a day before, definitely do so you can kind of get a feel, for that clay, because it's definitely different from the mat.
Hopefully Gabe gets a little more help building it this year too.
I know, poor guy.
Because it is quite a chore.
Yeah. Well, in Japan, they have like a team of Yobadashi doing it, and they do it over the course of some days.
Exactly. Yeah.
I have it planned. I posted on the event discussion, just asking if anyone wants to do anything, or if there's anything going on before the day before or after. And that Jay guy, planning on meeting up with him the day before, so at least gets some practice on the clay. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Sweet. Yeah.
I freaking whenever I saw you at the tournament, and yes, I was like, oh, that's the Rock City dude, so it just seemed to me, that seeing you guys start from, because I saw the videos with the jiu-jitsu belts when you guys were first kind of getting started, and then to see you at the Consulate's Cup, Mawashi'd up, then that picture of you with Hako, it's like, man, this guy just got fucking immersed, in sumo.
Yeah.
So it was just like, I gotta talk to this guy. But, and then meeting you at the Consulate's Cup, it was just like, oh, and he's fucking cool as hell to boot. So.
Yeah, thank you so much for joining us. If people wanted to find you online, where would you suggest they look for you?
It's Rock City Sumo on Instagram and Facebook.
Nice. Rock City Sumo. When I first heard the name of your club, I was so excited because I myself am a fan of geology and, different kinds of rocks and minerals. So it's good to find somebody else who has a love for that sort of thing.
But that's not the Rock City it was from.
Oh, wait, really?
No. That's Detroit Rock City.
Oh, that's right. Okay, never mind.
But think about all the bands that came from Detroit. You got MC5, and you got Death. You remember Death? That punk band from the 70s.
Yes.
And then there's freaking, the Electric Six.
His deathcore band when he was in high school.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, you know who else is from there? ICP.
Oh, Jesus.
Have you ever had any encounters with any of those ICP dudes or any juggalos in general? Like, what's it like up there in Detroit?
So, kind of unrelated, but I work for an internet provider, and we are like the official internet for the ICP. We provide internet to their place where they do all their podcasts from.
Oh shit!
And sometimes they want someone on site, so if something bad happens, like it could be fixed immediately. So we have one of our guy who just goes and parties with them.
Oh, that's fucking nuts! It's like ICP's tech guy.
Sweet.
That's awesome.
Oh, but yeah, thanks for having me on. This is it's kind of weird to be on. I've never been on a podcast before.
Honestly, ours is probably like way more chaotic.
We're super chaotic. We're like the gross, perverted little brother of the other sumo podcast.
Yeah, pretty much. I gotta pee now, so.
All right, but thank you so much, man. I really appreciate you.
Yeah, it was really great talking to you, for real.
Fun.
That kid. He was really fucking cool.
Yeah, but I'm still super J.
What? Oh, he got to meet Hakuho.
Like, I don't think anybody except, of course, Matt Shields, who's like just a maniac, would have been able to organize any of us US people to get up there for that.
Oh, I know. Justin Kizert was pissed. No one told him about it. He was like, what the fuck?
Oh, poor guy. But anyway, that's our show. You know where to find us. We're all over them social medias.
I refuse to call it X. It's Twitter. And we're at Punk Sumo.
Yeah, Sumo Punx everywhere spelled with an X, except if you're on the X or Twitter, it's Punk Sumo.
It's Twitter. Fuck that. Fuck you, Elon Musk. It's Twitter.
And we also have a couple of shops if you're into t-shirts or stickers or what have you. We have one on Redbubble, and we have one on TeePublic now. You would just have to search for Sumo Punx on there, and bam, there it is. If you like the episode, give us a rating. Give us a 5-star rating. It helps other people find this podcast so they can enjoy it too. All right, is that all of our stuff?
That's all of our stuff.
All right, well, until next time.
Bye.